Welcome back. We're going to delve into our first chat of the morning now. So, in celebration of Mandela Day on the 18th of July, the Symphony by the Waters project is spearheading a heartwarming initiative to support over 100 children from the Joseph Barnes Children's Home and Pietermaritzburg Children's Home. So, this effort, it aligns with a global call to action on Mandela's birthday, emphasizing community involvement and also just positive impact. By giving back to the community, Symphony by the Waters aims to also foster long-term connections and investments that benefit the city as well as its residents. Perhaps to chat a little bit more about the special day, we're going to be joined virtually by Mmapaseka Steve Letsike, Deputy Minister of Women, Children and People with Disabilities. Deputy Minister Steve, good morning. Thanks for your time at this hour.
Thank you. Good morning to you and to the viewers of SABC.
It's obviously a commemorative time for the nation at large as we reflect on, the ideals of Tata Nelson Mandela, perhaps also how we take on that baton. Nelson Mandela, International Mandela Day, obviously having passed yesterday. And in line with the main purpose of the initiative itself, organized now by Symphony of Waters, tell us a little bit more about that synergy and the aim at large.
Indeed, this is a good time that we all reflect as a country in terms of what we want and what we emulate as a country around issues of peace and issues of social justice. But most importantly, we reflect on the work of Madiba. If Madiba could really dedicate 67 years of his life to fighting for social justice and peace in our country, and what more if all of us come together to do that by ensuring that the vulnerable people get to be serviced, including all South Africans who must meet and be met by the great opportunities that are needed. And indeed, some of these programs that we've collaborated with, including Symphony by the Water, is one that also helps us to reach these goals. One that looks at the issues around reaching out immediately in terms of the Mandela Day, reaching out to this children's home in Maritzburg, the Joseph Baynes Children's Home, which really caters for children as young as infants until young age. And I think for us, it cares in terms of why do you need to reach them young, support them, ensure that they are cared for, but also children can be children. And there's a small needs such as food, care and support, psychological support, including access to quality education. And that kind of collaboration that you bring up a child that is healthy, that is ready to contribute and prosper for the country. That was necessary. And we found this initiative very much aligning to our own goals to address the needs of children, addressing some of the social issues that many children experience, including gender-based violence and violence against children in particular.
Yeah, no, thank you for speaking to that and obviously setting the context to all of this. It's not just about observing or commemorating International Nelson Mandela Day, right? It's an ongoing initiative. We're looking at the impact this also has on the lives of the children in the homes, but also community involvement. I mean, there's great emphasis on residents and local businesses also coming together. Tell us a little bit more about that incorporation.
And I think this is exactly what we've called for. You can imagine that as a department, as a country, our president called for a response that needs a whole of society to address some of the social and economic pressing issues, that we cannot do this alone as government. We need private sector, we need civil society, we need all community members, citizens of our country to step up. And when you look at this initiative by Symphony by the Water, it actually went all out. Businesses came in on board to donate food, to donate blankets, and you've also had a collaboration even with the provincial government, the MEC, in particular MEC Kaula, who also showed up for the children. The residents that showed up, come, let's clean together, let's teach, let's play with the children, and the NGOs around. And that's exactly what we want to see, a whole of government paying attention, not as a one-day exercise, but as an every day, 365 days, a kind of an investment. We view this work by Symphony by the Water as an investment, collaborating with us, that we can overturn the trajectory of our country. And that's exactly the build-up activities. Not only will end with the Maritzburg Children's Home, we're going to continue in our collaboration. And part of our collaboration with Symphony, we're going to have a national dialogue on the 15th of August, focusing exactly on gender-based violence and how do we eradicate it, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, in Pietermaritzburg areas, and how do we then ensure that we no longer have these hotspots, but if at all parties, all collaborators can come on board. And this is subsequent some of the activities that will lead us to the day itself of the Symphony by the Water.
All right, perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about that as we wrap up. But even if we look at, beyond the month itself, talk to us a little bit more about this initiative spreading into other provinces. What's that long-term vision looking like?
Look, the Symphony by the Water is a project that understands this notion of community investment, as I've highlighted. It's looking at how do we actually utilize music, how do you utilize art, creative sector to change social behavior. Okay. But also, how do you get South Africa to get it to a mood also that is happier, that is healthier, and that also is family oriented. And when you look at the involvement of different communities, schools, orchestras that are involved, and creative artists, Judith Sipuma is one of the artists and that will be showing up. And we think, by virtue of the day itself that will be hosted in October the 4th, it will be the one that brings families together, the diversity, black, white, Indian, colored, everybody must come on board to join in, to listen to music, but also to interact in how we better this initiative. It's part of building and contributing to what the president calls the national dialogue, and using arts and creative as part of social change to address social issues.
Well, Steve, obviously in the past, due to the injustices, the stones were thrown. We're gathering them together and helping to rebuild one stone at a time. Let's leave our conversation there. Thank you for the work and for joining us at this hour. We'll leave our conversation there. Mmapaseka Steve Letsike this morning, chatting about the importance of Mandela International Day. It comes, obviously, through the project by Symphony by the Waters and its supporters, really reflecting on the power of collective action to help make a difference in the lives of others, particularly the most vulnerable.